Yvette Rios here on ehow.com, and I wanted to share with you guys a few ways that I like to use pumpkins and squash other than just cooking them and eating them. To start, I love these little pumpkins. They're so cute. You can pick these up at any grocery store or just go to your local pumpkin patch. And I like to paint them. So in order to do that, I use a primer. This one happens to be automobile primer, but you can use any spray primer. And just shake it up a little bit. I'm using a gray primer. The darker primers tend to cover the darker colors of the orange a little bit better. And with spray paint, you want to keep shaking it until the balls move freely inside. That means the paint inside is fully mixed. And then you ideally want to do this in a well-ventilated area. Outside is a great place, but I'm just going to show you guys. And then you let it dry really well. It usually takes a few minutes to dry, 10-15 minutes. Come back, and then I'm using some silver acrylic paint. I'm just going to put some right here on my newspaper, and then you're just going to paint on top of the dried part of the primer. So you're going to do this. Usually about a coat is good, because if you've primed it really well, the silver is going to look great. And then when you're done, I've got one that I did right here, just drill a hole in the top. What I like to use is actually a drill with a hole saw bit is the ideal thing because it makes a nice hole in there. And then get out a candlestick holder and just put that right on top. And then look at this with a silver candle. How cool does that look? It'll dress up your holiday table and your friends will think, man, that is just genius. Where does she come up with this stuff? Don't worry, I'll never tell. Next idea, I love these little pumpkins. These are actually all really good cooking pumpkins. They're sugar pumpkins, so these can be reused afterwards, and I love projects like that. So just lay out your pumpkins on your table, and I kind of laid them out so that they're in kind of interesting shapes, and this is going to become my Thanksgiving table centerpiece. So I've got my black paint. I actually just put some right into my little paint tray here, and I'm going to grab this pumpkin. And you're just going to kind of freehand some letters on here. Of course, you could use a stencil if you're worried that your lettering isn't going to be great. But you know what? Frankly, nobody really cares that much. So just have fun with it. And I'm just putting my finishing touches on the A for my Thanksgiving centerpiece that says thanks. How cool is that? And I love this idea because you can actually use the pumpkins afterwards. You're not cutting into them, so they're perfectly fine. The last idea is these little squashes. You can use pumpkins, of course. I love these. I think they're just absolutely adorable. And you can actually use these as candle holders. So what I did was I just cut a hole on the inside of this. I actually used a knife to cut this one. And I used my votive candles as a little bit of a form. So what you do is you take your votive candle out of the little metal shield, and you're just going to use this to sort of measure what size. Just draw your line around it and then cut your hole about that big. Then you can put your candle right in there and let me light it. So there you go. You've got a great silver mini candle holder using pumpkins that looks really elegant and it'll add a little pizzazz to your holiday table. A great way to reuse pumpkins to make a centerpiece without having to carve them so you can cook them up later. And a way to use a squash to add a little candlelight to your holiday table. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Yvette Rios here on ehow.com. Happy holidays.